Hi little wildcats. Today I want to show you a couple of things about plants in the yard. Okay, so Peter's helping me and he's going to direct the phone down to this dandelion plant I found. Okay, I'm going to dig it up and show you what the parts of the plant are. Okay, this is a dandelion. Hopefully I got the whole thing. So here we have our dandelion plant. These are the leaves, okay? This is the stem, and this is the flower. And like you might have seen from the other video we had, when this flower dies, it'll be replaced by a white ball of fluff that'll have a whole bunch of tiny little dandelion seeds on it. Right now it's the flower. And the leaves feed the plant, and the stem brings water up to the flower. And underneath the plant is something very, very important for the plant, and it's roots. Let me see if I can clear away some of this soil. And as you can tell, one of the things that the roots do is they protect the plant by keeping it anchored to the ground and anchored to the soil, where they get all the food they need and where they can get the moisture from the rain that goes in the ground. Okay, so you can see underneath all this, we'll find probably one big taproot, a main root. See this? That's like a main root and all these little other roots, like root hairs. And this is how the plant gets all that it needs, all the food it needs from the ground and the water from the ground. And it sucks it up through the roots and takes it all the way up to the top of the stem. So that's our dandelion plant. One thing I wanted to tell you also is that I wouldn't do this without asking your mom or dad, but people sometimes will wash off the leaves of the dandelion and they can eat them. And even the flower itself is edible, but I wouldn't do that without talking to mom and dad. So anyway, there you see a whole plant. Another thing I wanted to show you, since we're outside and I see one, is there's something called a wild onion grass growing. And if I dig down deep enough, hopefully I'll get the whole little bulb that goes underneath. The thing that's cool about this, it's just a weed, but what's kind of cool about it is that it smells like an onion. If you pick it and you cut it in half, it smells like an onion. Or if I pull it up from the ground, I'll be able to show you. It grows from a little bulb in the ground. This one has like 2 little bulbs about to start. So there again, the roots that feed the little weed and the bulb. And the cool thing about this, if you guys see this growing in the ground, maybe mom or dad could help you find one. Sometimes it grows in clumps, like over here. They look like tall grasses. And if you pick it, you can smell it, and it smells like an onion. So that's a pretty cool thing outside also. And Peter and I, take you over here, Pete can come. We dug up some worms just a little bit ago. So this is another thing I think we could try together. If you guys are allowed to dig in your garden or someplace where you can get some worms. Pete and I dug some worms, and we put them, I'm probably rattling them around a little too much right now. We put them in this glass jar so we could examine what they do in the glass jar. So you see one extra big long worm here, right? See him? And he's got some friends in this glass jar. I don't know, Pete, if you can get that. You can get the shot of the other ones that are in there. There's a whole bunch in here, but I think they're kind of hiding. What I wanted to do with this is I saw, I don't know if this is, yeah, this is a little skinny fat one. I saw something online that you could try where you take the worms and put them back in the jar, put them in a glass jar, and then see if you can see how they make their trails in the glass jar. And the reason why I want to show you the worms is because, even though we're studying plants, is because worms are super important for plants. Sometimes in our area, there's the ground is really hard, and what worms do is they loosen up the ground so plants can grow better, and they help it so that they make little tunnels in the ground and air can get in the tunnels. And it's important for plants to have oxygen and have access to soil that's a little bit loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this. I made some holes in this plastic bag. I'm going to cover it, and then I'll show you, hopefully, if it's very interesting to look at, I hope it will be, I can show you guys, it was kind of interesting just to get the worms. I'll show you guys what the worms do. What I think is going to happen is the worms are going to make little tunnels, and we can watch them from the outside make little tunnels through the soil, so you can see how they do their work of making the soil looser and easier for plants to use. And the last thing I want to show you is we have this packet of nasturtium seeds here. Nasturtium seeds are little seeds, probably about as big as a popcorn kernel. You can see them. They're a little bit hard, but they're supposedly fast to grow, and they grow these little flowers, and these flowers are edible. We were at a fancy restaurant one time where they had them in the salads, and they were really good. So hopefully they'll sprout. I'm going to put them in a glass jar, and I'm going to put some seeds on the side. So maybe if they grow the little roots that the plants need, we'll be able to watch them grow. And I'm going to add a little water. Okay. And last thing I want to tell you guys is this jar of worms here that I have. If you guys do that at home, don't leave it out in the sun. I'm going to put it in a shady spot in my yard. The worms over here. I'm going to put it in a shady spot in my yard so the worms don't end up baking in that container that I put them in. I just want to observe them, and then I'm going to send them back out into the garden. So anyway, I hope this gives you guys some ideas. I hope you're having fun in your own yard. Bye.